Friday fitness on a Tuesday, drinking coffee. So I finished up my classes for becoming a fitness instructor, and I've just got tests left to write. And a big thing that the instructor mentioned a lot was, you got to program for your clients and for your audience, not for yourself, blah, blah, blah. You got to know what they need and be able to serve them, which makes perfect sense. And I think that also translates into everything I've done before. It's just like being in front of a crowd musically or theatrically. If you make it all about what you want to give, you're going to alienate and lose a big part of your audience. You can't program. I have to take a marker away from the cat. You can't program for yourself and expect that to translate to others. So I was thinking about how I would program for other people, and I started writing a little questionnaire that I would ask someone. Things like, how much time do you want to invest? How much money do you want to spend? Because I think that's going to be a big factor for a lot of people. It's like if someone says, like, I want to spend $30 a month, then I'm like, okay, that's going to be a very simple and different program than if someone's like, yeah, I'll put in $200 a month, or I'll put in a one-time investment of $500. I would have to come up with different things for them. And so I started thinking about different people and how they would answer these questions. And I thought about my dad, just as just a good bullet point place to start. So here's my estimation of kind of what my dad would say. My dad's 60 years old, and he used to be very outdoorsy, but he was not athletic. He never weight trained. So, but I don't actually know my dad very well, so I'm going to get some of these things wrong, and if he ever sees this, I apologize. But also, hey. So I'm thinking he wouldn't want to put in a bunch of money, because that would just be inconvenient, and he wouldn't want to make a big investment, because if it doesn't work out, that money is wasted, and he's financially smart. So he would want to make a small investment, and he wouldn't want to give a lot of time to this. He would want something that could be done daily or alternating daily in the 20-minute range, so that, and his goal would be simply to feel better as he ages. Like, he's not out to get buff or anything like that. He would want to maybe increase some range of motion and just generally just feel better in sort of a wellness kind of way. So I would make some dietary recommendations that I'll just leave out of this, I guess. But here's what I was thinking exercise-wise. What I would do is I would get him to go out and buy a 15-pound dumbbell. One 15-pound dumbbell. The lowest commitment, like lowest financial commitment you can make. And I would program some exercise. So I'm going to step back from the camera and hopefully be able to stay pretty well in focus. I'm going to show you guys I have these, which, if you've ever watched the channel before, which, no one should, I have these adjustable dumbbells from Bowflex. These are incredible, but if someone said to me, yeah, I want to spend $300, I'd be like, well, hey, these adjustable weights from Bowflex are great then. But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to use one set to 15. And it could even be 10. I would go, because I've been working out for 3 years now. What feels like to me might not feel like to a man who's 60. But it could be 10 or 15. And I would program something really simple and really rhythmic, so that there just wouldn't be too many distractions. Like, once you start, it's easy to keep going. I'm going to have to lower this camera a bit more. And I picked 5 as an arbitrary number to start. So with a 15-pound dumbbell, I would say do 5 hammer curls. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then elbow up, elbow out, 5 overhead press, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'd hold it up there, do 5 windmills, which means hinging at the hip out that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then tricep extension. So I would twist the weight back again, and then do 5 of these. Now if you needed to assist with the other hand, that's okay. Most people have weak triceps compared to their biceps. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then before doing that on the other side, I just picked this up from exercise theory. Rather than telling someone like, yeah, do this on this side and then do this on the other side, because they instantly get bored, do something in the center before you do something on the other side. Free instructor tip there. So of course I would go to the goblet squat position. I would start with just calf raises, so just lifting up on your toes a bunch of times, because I have no idea what an older man's range of motion is like for the squat. So I would just, if you can squat. I'm gonna have to squat out of frame if I squat though. Whoop. But yeah, it would be goblet squats. And there's a million videos out there about how to do a good squat. I've talked about how to do a good squat in the past 100 times. So what matters for the goblet squat is just this grip. And then I would do 5 calf raises and 5 squats, and then do that same dumbbell progression on the other side. Before getting into the goblet squat, I would also take the weight behind the back like this and do good mornings. So just bow like you're saying good morning. Knees straight, just hips back, just to train the hip hinge. And why I would do this with the weight behind the back, I just picked this up from someone else's video. Sorry, I can't remember who and give them credit. But if you start with the weight behind your back like that, it keeps your shoulders and your spine where you want it to be. Like, that's a great way to teach the hip hinge. Oh, you know what? I bet you it was Redefining Strength. Shout out to Redefining Strength. It's a great way to teach the hip hinge, because people will instinctively round forward if you put the weight in front of them to start with. But if you put the weight behind them, and you can see it right there, it just pulls your shoulders back, it keeps your spine straight, and you just bow like you're saying good morning. So I'd throw that in before the squats to practice the hip hinge motion and get that right. 3, 4, and 5. And then up and out. And then I would say, do that once a day, every day, and every 2 weeks, add 2 reps. Windmills. And then do that for 3 months, and then I would institute another phase where I would get them to purchase another dumbbell and then do 2 dumbbell movements and stuff like that. But I think getting an archetype like my dad into fitness, where I hired as his personal trainer, that's how I would start. Like, okay, this is simple, fast, cheap. There's no daunting, complex movements. It's just going to be good for shoulder mobility and really just ingraining the habit of exercise. And then I would write phase 2 from there. And like I said, I would talk about diet as well. And this is going to come up every single time. I would get everyone I ever worked with taking creatine. Just 2 milligrams a day every day, just to try and prevent like muscle wasting, just because it's good for your brain ultimately. So creatine would be my go-to supplement. I would make sure that he was getting his omega-3s to keep inflammation down, getting enough protein to also try and prevent muscle loss. So that's how I would design a program for kind of a really generalized, just 60-year-old man. And that's what I'm thinking about. Stay fit, everybody.